Hello and welcome. Good to have you with us. World Cup 2007 has come to its last outing. The final match will be played between Australia and Sri Lanka, and it will be a repeat of 1996 final. But what happened to the semi-final in which South Africa totally crumbled and Australia just stormed its way to the final? South Africa posted its lowest ever total in the World Cup match, and Australia won convincingly with 7 wickets. Glenn McGrath, Sean Tate and Brad Hogg, they are simply demolishing all the people who are coming their way. McGrath leading with 25 wickets, which is the highest in any World Cup. Now South Africa crumbled where the Australians could hold their nerves. Now this was the semi-final. South Africa had to go and play over there with cool nerves and face the situation as it came. But no, Graeme Smith, Jacques Kallis, all very seasoned campaigners, they were getting out to reckless shots. And they were almost telling the bowler what to do because they were just going outside the crease, almost walking out and giving time for them to change the length of the delivery. And first Nathan Bracken gets Graeme Smith, and then Glenn McGrath, he gets Jacques Kallis' prize wicket. Later on in the press conference, Graeme Smith said that we don't blame our batting. But then what went wrong? Were they not prepared to have this psychological pressure, how to handle it? And it seems that in the psychological warfare that preceded this match, Ricky Ponting played his game very well. And Jacques Kallis and his members, they could not stand up to the pressure in this real crunch match. In semi-final, you get only one chance. If you can win, you are through. If not, you're out. And once again, semi-final became the last hurdle where South Africa crumbled. And Australia are through to the final for the 4th time straight. And they are trying for a 3-peat title effort. They won it in 2003, they won it in 1999, they lost to Sri Lanka in 1996. Now Matthew Hayden, Glenn McGrath, Ricky Ponting, Sean Tate and Brad Hogg, these are the people who are propelling the team to greater heights. Now let's have a quick look as to what Sri Lanka can have or what they can really face when they come to stand up and play against Australia. Now Sri Lanka have to avoid what South Africa did. In other words, their batsmen, especially the seasoned campaigners like Sanat Jayasuriya, who was one of the members who played in 1996 final, he should be leading his team in terms of building up the proper psychological preparation. He has to tell his other folks because a lot of them are pretty new as far as playing in a final is concerned. They have Muralidharan, Chaminda Vas and this wily guy Sanat Jayasuriya. So Sanat Jayasuriya and Upal Tharanga, they got to start slowly. Do not go and play the way South Africans played against the Australian bowlers, especially against Glenn McGrath. You do not want to play the way Jacques Kallis plays against Glenn McGrath. Glenn McGrath has a very nagging line of length, so give him respect, wait for the loose delivery and then whack him over the close fielder, because when you are in the power play situation, you know there are only 2 fielders outside the 30-yard line, you know their position, so you can pick and choose where you place the ball, but you have to also pick and choose the length of the delivery, the direction. You just do not go and start moving your bat just like a baseball bat. It's not a sledgehammer that you move it and the ball gets contact with the bat and it flies in some direction. No. So the Sri Lankans have to start steadily and then build up on that. Now between the two teams, the Sri Lankan bowling attack has a slight edge, and that slight edge comes from Muralidharan because he is far better than Brad Hogg. Remember, Brad Hogg has now 20 wickets in this World Cup and he's one of the 3 Australians who have reached the 20 mark. Sean Tate has 23 and Glenn McGrath has 25. Chaminda Vas is a very experienced bowler, so he will match Glenn McGrath's ability. Muralidharan tips the scale vis-a-vis Brad Hogg. And Lasith Malinga, he is also very fast like Sean Tate. But then both Tate and Malinga can be a little wayward. So in the bowling department, Sri Lanka has an edge. But in the batting department, Australia has very good resources. So Sri Lanka, while they bat, They got to play very carefully and gradually build, and once again the captain Mahela Jayawardene will have to lead from the front the way he played in the semi-final. He might have to duplicate the same kind of an effort. As far as the bowling is concerned, the Sri Lankans have to be really very tight. Lasith Malinga cannot afford to be wayward, otherwise he will be taken apart by people like Matthew Hayden and Ricky Ponting. Matthew Hayden has to score 52 runs to equal Sachin Tendulkar's record of 673, which is the highest in any World Cup competition. For all you know, Matthew Hayden would definitely like to beat that record, but then you've got to get his wicket as early as possible. Australia will try to avenge the defeat they had suffered in 1996, whereas Sri Lanka are on a high. They would not like to disappoint their coach Tom Moody, and what a coach he has been. Whereas Brett Chappell failed miserably with India, Tom Moody has taken his team to the final. So the final between Australia and Sri Lanka is going to be very interesting. I hope so, because the semi-finals, at least the second one, turn out to be very one-sided. At least the first semi-final had some element of excitement because Sri Lanka had scored 289 and nobody could think in their dreams that New Zealand would be crumbling so badly. So we are in for hopefully a very interesting final, and I'll be back with you to discuss as to what happened in that classic final, and we would definitely like to hope that the people's money is really well spent on the final at least. And in terms of crowd presence, let's hope that both the teams get the roaring support from the people in West Indies. Till then, it's goodbye.